The Destined One's journey in Black Myth Wukong seems straightforward. Gather the scattered relics of the fallen great sage to prove their worth and inherit Sun Wukong's destiny. But a secret war rages beneath this simple quest, a struggle on the greatest stage fought between gods to secure their divine supremacy. Neither mortal nor immortal are immune to their schemes, and after the pieces fall and the dust settles, many will be sacrificed to this conflict of religion. In Journey to the West, the monk Tang Cangzang, alongside his disciple Sun Wukong, journeys from China to India to acquire Buddhist sutras and bring its religious teachings back to his home country. Through the 81 tribulations they face on their quest, the group are aided by immortals, gods, and celestial deities of Buddhism as well as Taoism. This harmony between religions is influenced by China's own religious history, in which the two religions as well as Confucianist philosophy intermingled to create a unique blend. The image of cooperation in Journey to the West is shattered by the dark truths revealed centuries later in Black Myth Wukong. A reality of conflict and manipulation reigns. Two pantheons of deities exist in Black Myth Wukong and its inspiration Journey to the West. The Eastern Heaven rules over much of China from their seat of power in the Celestial Court. These gods and immortals are the spiritual manifestation of the Taoist religion, a religion, briefly and broadly speaking, in which beings seek self-cultivation and enlightenment to better harmonize themselves with the Tao, or order of the universe. The Eastern Heaven is a rigidly structured bureaucracy whose supreme administrators are the Jade Emperor and Queen Mother of the West, but many other deities dwell within heaven as courtiers and officials. Such members include Lao Tzu, or Lord Lao, whose alchemical knowledge is used to craft pills of immortality, the 4 heavenly kings of the cardinal directions, the 28 mansions or constellations, dragon kings, massive beasts, among countless others. Eastern Heaven's prime directive is to promote order and stability, though they're far from united. Many harbor grudges against one another or care for their more mortal passions. The Western Heaven, by contrast, rules over India and beyond from high on Mount Sumeru. This pantheon contains the holy figures and spiritual manifestations of the Buddhist religion, a religion, briefly and broadly speaking, in which beings seek self-cultivation and enlightenment to end attachment or suffering and reach nirvana, a place beyond the cycle of karma and reincarnation. Buddhas are those few who have achieved ultimate awakening and most deeply embody the faith, including Tathagata, or the Buddha. Bodhisattvas represent emotions or actions, have begun the path of full awakening, and are close to achieving Buddhahood. Other beings such as the Devas of the cardinal directions and the Dharma protectors exist within this pantheon. The Western Heaven's prime directive is to propagate Buddhist teachings and to convert non-believers to their faith. But again, they aren't united in this task. Many seek influential mortals to act as their own personal disciples, and others selfishly wish to advance their paths towards Buddhahood. Already we can feel this tension between Eastern and Western Heaven just through their mandates. These deities scheme to influence mortals, Yaoguais and lesser immortals, on the realm beneath them. They use their will indirectly to influence and impede. Either unwilling or unable to confront one another directly, these gods instead act through intermediaries, and the lesser beings are hopelessly caught in the crossfire. The friction between the heavens is intensified during the events of Journey to the West and Sun Wukong's adventures. Wukong's havoc in heaven stunned the Celestial Court, who were helpless to resist the great sage. His rebellion was only ended when the Jade Emperor's plea reached Buddha in the West, who subdued and imprisoned Sun Wukong beneath a mountain for 500 years. Though unity was restored in Eastern Heaven, the great sage's antics cost the Jade Emperor dearly. He lost face in Buddhist eyes and was indebted to the Western Heaven. Following Sun Wukong's rebellion, all of the Eastern Heaven despised and distrusted the monkey, who styled himself Heaven's equal. When Bodhisattva Guanyin led Tan Cangzang to liberate Wukong from his punishment and granted the monk a golden headband that could control the rash and impetuous monkey, Buddhism gained a supremely powerful pawn to weave into their designs. Indeed, the purpose of Cangzang's journey was to retrieve and translate Buddhist sutras and spread the religion through China. so the Western pantheon greatly wished for his success. Though the Tang monk and his disciples were assisted by both heavens throughout their journey west, the tribulations recreated for the Destined One in Black Myth were primarily aided by the Bodhisattvas. Guanyin subdued both the Black Bear Guai and Red Boy. Lingji dispelled the Yellow Wind Sage's Samadhi wind and gathered him up. Maitreya Buddha defeated his wayward page Yellowbrow, and Pilanpo helped vanquish the hundred-eyed Taoist master. Not only were these great demons and Yaoguais defeated, but they were often made to recite sutras, convert to Buddhism, and forced to become pupils of the Bodhisattvas. Only the Bull Demon King was subdued by members of the Celestial Court. Buddhist dominance is indisputable once the journey west is completed, as both Tan Sangzang and Sun Wukong are elevated to Buddhahood. Sun Wukong, the victorious fighting Buddha, a force with which Eastern Heaven can't contend, is firmly controlled by Western Heaven through the golden headband, and their primacy is secured. But the monkey's audacity and arrogance can't tolerate eternal servitude. He devises a plan in collaboration with Erlang Shen, the Celestial Court's greatest soldier and warrior god, to rid himself of the golden headband that keeps him chained to Heaven's whim.
What does it matter if you become a Buddha? That headband has always been on your head.
Keep those eyes wide open. Watch me rip it off and break free.
The plot requires his death and the preservation of his mind so that his eventual reincarnation can gain the freedom to deny the gods. When he's destroyed, Wukong's essence is divided into his 6 senses, manifested in the Great Relics. Erlang Shen inconspicuously retains the monkey's mind, but his remaining 5 senses are gifted to powerful Yaoguai kings to challenge Wukong's future self and demonstrate its worth.
You've atoned through deeds, Black Bear. Take this pair of eyes. You've served the righteous cause, Yellow Rat. These ears are yours. Your power has gathered anew, Yellowbrow. Keep this nose. You've endured hardships, Hundred Eye. Go with the tongue. And the bull, it is the hardest to turn against a sworn brother. You can have his body.
It's a closely guarded secret that the pair hide beneath myth and legend. For 500 years, Wukong awaits his destined reincarnation, but with his death, Buddhism loses its greatest warrior, and Eastern Heaven strikes back in their celestial war. In Chapter 1 of Black Myth, we find Wukong's eyes given to the Black Wind Demon, now a servant of Guanyin who rebuilt her temple and restored the Buddhist faith on the mountain. But the bear's fear of going against the Celestial Court, and his innate greed fueled by the relic, pushes the Guai to instate himself as king over lesser Yaoguais, demanding worship and alms. He perverts Guanyin Temple and the mountain. The Celestial Court next manipulates the Yellow Wind Sage from Chapter 2 to move against his master, Lingji Bodhisattva. Lingji has proven to be merciless and deceptive in the past. He sent the beetle Fuban to destroy the kingdom of Sahali for casting aside Buddhism, and he has many times belittled or punished his pupil Yellowwind. The sage, after being defeated and taken to Vulture Peak by Lingji, harbors only hatred for his master. This we hear in the words of the Tiger Vanguard. I once heard my father mention that our master despised that bodhisattva of some sort, their so-called master-disciple bond. Later, tales percolate throughout Yellowwind Ridge that the sage conspired with outside sources to bring low his master. An oil-stealing rat climbs high only if someone sets up a ladder. The ladder is without doubt set by the Celestial Court. With Eastern Heaven's assistance, the Yellowwind Sage beheads Lingji and plans to use it as a vessel to control the Fuming Ears relic, one of the Great Sage's senses. This is a huge blow to Western Heaven. Chapter 3 shows how the Buddhist pantheon this time indirectly launches an attack in the New West through Maitreya Buddha's erstwhile disciple. Though Yellowbrow is gifted the hubris nose by Erlang, a member of the Celestial Court, He's an uncontrollable actor and uses its power to subdue many within the Taoist pantheon. He captures the third prince of flowing sands and transforms his lieutenants into demon captains. Yellowbrow then subdues both the Great Turtle and Snake generals through the freezing of Bitter Lake, and he even captures within his magical seed sack 2 constellation deities in the Dawnstar and Kangjin, who submits herself to his teachings. This we hear in her lore entry. After a long while, Kangjin Long suddenly knelt on the ground and uttered, "Please, Master, accept me as your disciple." Kangjin remains in the New West, but the Dawnstar will suffer a terrible fate. The Hundred-Eyed Taoist is spared from Pilanpo's punishment in exchange for servitude to Kunlun Mountain and the Queen Mother of the West, as the Chapter 4 tapestry elaborates.
Long ago, the many-legged one was subdued by Bodhisattva Pilanpo and locked on Purple Cloud Mountain. Only by a plea from the Celestial Court was he spared.
The Queen Mother and Celestial Court use their Taoist pawn not only to deal a blow to Western Heaven, but also to invigorate themselves. She brings from heaven 2 celestial eggs as gifts for the Hundred-Eyed Taoist. 1 golden cocoon is used to redeem the guilty. This is a reference to the Dawnstar, who was brought from the New West to Purple Cloud Mountain in chains. The Dawnstar is a complex character and belongs to both religious pantheons. He's one of the constellations in the Taoist mansion, but more importantly, he's the son of Bodhisattva Pilanpo. Pilanpo was crucial in the Hundred-Eyed Taoist's defeat and imprisonment. The embroidery needle used was in fact magically derived from her son the Dawnstar's own eyes. The Dawnstar was in his time considered a bane to all insect guais. He aided Sun Wukong in defeating scorpion demons and other creatures in the journey west. Now a prisoner of the Celestial Court, Dawnstar suffers their revenge. The Queen states that they have taken too much profit. This time, our principal and interest must be taken back. The Hundred-Eyed Taoist forces Dawnstar to ingest the golden cocoon as an alchemical experiment to extract will, which transforms the constellation into the grotesque, monstrous Dusk Veil. The second celestial egg hatches into the Elder Armorworm, a creature that can turn mortals into Yaoguais, which greatly interests the Queen of the West and the Taoist Master. The Celestial Court uses pills and elixirs to bolster their immortality. Such alchemical products require the distillation of will and powerful Yaoguai essence. The Queen and Hundred-Eyed Taoist perfect their experimentations on Dawnstar and others within the Webbed Hollow and Yellow Flower Mountain to create a sort of Yaoguai farm in which mortals are trapped or deceived, transformed into guais, then cultivated by the court and distilled into pills of immortality. Through these means, Eastern Heaven gains a significant advantage on the West. The war between gods and religions that has been simmering for centuries reaches a grand crescendo when the Destined One makes themselves known and begins the journey to reclaim Sun Wukong's relics. Both heavens seek to capitalize on the Great Sage's death and potential reincarnation, and after more than 500 years, the entirety of their oppressive power descends upon the Destined One. This celestial war has laid bare the true character of the gods. Immortals and Buddhas alike are merciless, cold, and deceptively calculating. They care little for the mortals caught in their schemes, and only demonstrate clemency if it's to their gain. They harvest mortal will to fuel their immortality and divinity. This is a bleak reality in which lesser beings have no hope of elevating themselves, merely pawns exploited by those that deem themselves superior. It's an illusion Sun Wukong saw through and sought to free himself from. As the Destined One ventures through their trials, the desires of each pantheon grow apparent. Eastern Heaven wishes for the Destined One to fail completely. The Great Sage wrought unparalleled havoc upon the Celestial Court and couldn't be stopped even by their greatest warriors. They despise Sun Wukong for declaring himself their equal, and they see his existence as a divine transgression. The court fears his reincarnation and resurrection. Western Heaven, meanwhile, wants the Destined One to succeed in claiming Wukong's power, so long as they can continue to control him. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas hope to guide the Destined One along a path that ends with him donning Wukong's golden headband and once more becoming a humbled servant of Buddhism. It's in this field, rife with intrigue, where Sun Wukong and Erlang Shen planted their seed of conspiracy. Though Shen was a senior member of Eastern Heaven, he respected Wukong's prowess. He also held no illusion about the Celestial Court's insincerity, and himself feuded with many immortals. Their shared disabuse brought them together as brothers, and they organized the terms of Wukong's death. As Shen admits, only the monkey can bring about the monkey's defeat.
I can't kill that monkey. No one can. Except himself.
Sun Wukong commits ritual suicide by Erlang's hand and the 5 Yaoguai kings. Each king is given one of the great sage's relics, but perhaps not just to test the future Destined One. It's interesting to note that most of these kings, after suffering punishment and reciting sutras during Journey to the West, are Buddhist agents. This can also be seen as a premeditated strike against Western Heaven, as many Yaoguai kings fall back into selfish, demonic habits once they claim the relic's power. The most fragile part of Wukong's plan is the secret preservation of his mind and his memory within Erlang Shen's third eye. This is the critical relic. Only with the great sage's mind, his veritable soul, can he truly be reincarnated and granted the wisdom necessary to see past the lies and escape future servitude. Despite the pair's secrecy, it seems both Maitreya Buddha and Bodhisattva Guanyin were aware of the plot, hence Western Heaven's plan to guide and censor the Destined One along their path. We hear of Maitreya Buddha's knowledge in his conversation with the green-capped martialist. "I worry more about your brother. That thing tests the bearer's heart greatly. He has borne it alone for many years. Let's hope he doesn't fail at the last moment." Maitreya even offers Erlang Shen a protected hiding place in the mountains to shield the relic. But neither Buddha nor Guanyin seem to fully comprehend the extent of Wukong's design. They don't realize that the mind is the key to Sun Wukong's freedom.
No prestige can shackle him. No band can keep him caged. A mortal death for an unbound mind and will.
In the Buddhists' play for power, they have themselves become pawns of the great sage and Erlang Shen, but Wukong's return is entirely dependent on the Destined One's decisions. If, throughout their trials, the Destined One remains oblivious to Western Heaven's manipulations and can't see through their lies, then the monkey is doomed to remain a prisoner to the whims of gods. Without collecting the final relic from Erlang Shen, the Destined One is devoid of Wukong's mind, devoid of the illumination brought by revelation that lays bare the profanity of the heavenly realm. It willingly submits itself to slavery, highlighted in the crowning of the golden headband. It bears the great sage's punishment and remains trapped within the stone egg indefinitely. If, however, it attains the critical 6th relic of Sun Wukong, the Destined One combines all of the great sage's senses and unlocks his spirit. This reveals through memory the truth of Sun Wukong's death, the motive behind his and Erlang Shen's actions, and it affords the Destined One an opportunity to deny fate and claim independence. The monkey's awakening and transfer of knowledge is signified by the final animated cutscene. Here, the Destined One truly becomes Sun Wukong reincarnated, the great sage equal to heaven, resplendent and restored in body and mind. At this inflection point, Sun Wukong refuses the headband, which breaks him free from the cycle and severs the strings connecting him to the heavens. This outcome is what both Eastern and Western Heaven feared, an immensely powerful and reckless being unfettered to the gods, free to sow chaos, and empowered to challenge the Celestials themselves. None can say what the reborn Sun Wukong might do, but it's an ironic end to this tale that the discord created in the violent war between Eastern and Western Heaven blinded both to the great sage's true intent and offered an opportunity for destiny to be rewritten. The Celestial Court's greatest adversary is returned, and Buddha's most reluctant disciple is no longer constrained. Thanks so much for watching and listening to the dark truth of Black Myth Wukong and the war between heavens. Let me know your thoughts about the Taoist and Buddhist pantheons, Sun Wukong and Erlang Shen's plan, and what you'd like to learn more about in the comments below. And if you're a fan of lore and storytelling, be sure to subscribe to the channel, check out the podcast where content is uploaded frequently. I want to take a moment to thank my amazing supporters over on Patreon who make all of this possible, and I couldn't do it without their fantastic support. If you'd like to become a lore luminary for access to me, written scripts, a great community, and early video drops, head to patreon.com/thelorebrarians to learn more. Until next time, go forth and explore the lore.